Thanks for coming out on a Saturday morning. My name is Anna Alvarado, and I'm the Chief of the O'Hare Network. Very, very delighted to have all of you here. Just to share a little bit, I've been through several community meetings, not exactly just for the O'Hare Network, but I've been through difficult community meetings where the purpose of the meeting was completely different than what we have for today. It's heart-wrenching to hear parents sadness about losing, their neighborhood school or that potential, and it's hard to listen to kids talk about how much they love their school and they've been there since preschool or kindergarten, and the thought of them moving to another school and in a different school community, as a parent myself, is very difficult to embrace. For our network is a very different story, and you and I know that. We had our first community meeting, and that first community meeting was here, and we actually barely filled the auditorium. We had 2 breakout sessions, and that meeting was more about your voices being heard. And at that point, it was unknown whether any of our schools would be impacted by the school action. And when the first list came out, we found out that none of our schools was going to be impacted by school action. So today, this is our second round of community meeting, and I'm so thrilled that you are here to have your voices heard. And again, as much as it's very difficult to listen to the stories about schools closing, when I visit schools, it's also hard to see learning environments that sometimes have safety issues in them because of overcrowding. Sometimes I walk into classrooms, I'm hopping over backpacks. I've seen kids eat lunch on their laps in the auditorium. Some of you brought up things like we don't have an adequate play space for our children. And so if we're talking about children, we're talking about all children. And every child deserves the best learning environment for them to learn and to grow. And every teacher and every school administrator also deserves the best school where they can grow children. And with that in mind, I'm asking you today, you came here to voice your concerns about the learning environment at your school. And on behalf of Barbara Bennett, our CEO, we really would like to engage our community. Your voice is critical in this process. And I know sometimes there's skepticism that happens, like, do you really want to hear our voices? Are you really going to make our suggestions happen? I think the bigger question is, collectively, these are all our children, and therefore collectively, all our voices matter. So that's the mindset that I want to bring you along for today. I'd like to have you engaged. And I'm so proud that we have a lot of principals from the O'Hare Network here today to actually speak on behalf of their school communities and on behalf of their children. So with that, I'd like to introduce a few people who have supported this process throughout. And the first group I'm going to introduce are people who I work very closely with, who are my colleagues and friends as well. And I'm going to start by introducing Craig Bennis, who is the network chief of the Ravenswood British Network. Welcome, Craig. Leslie Boozer, and Leslie is the chief of the high school, Northwest Collaborative. We have Grace Rapp, who is from facilities. Patrick Payne. Patrick's been working with a transition team for school action. And I have my deputy, Shane Smith. I also would like to introduce Luis Garcia Juarez, who are LSC relations for the network. And I'm not sure if Maruk is in this room. Maruk is our base manager. She's probably outside. Yeah. Okay. So, thank you. So there were 2 different sign-in sheets outside, and the first one is for those who are speaking, and the other one are those who are just listening. So those are 2 sheets. So the first one I'm just going to run down the names of the school. We're going to do this per school. And if your school is not here on this list and you want to speak, I think you just, at the end of all the speakers, you just raise your hand and we'll call you. So far, we have Pressing, Wildwood, Belding, Steinmetz High School, Oriole Park, Murphy School, Dever, Ebinger, Disney, Scammon, Hitch, and Roosevelt High School. So Patrick will be explaining the protocol for this morning. And before we start, I'd like to introduce two aldermen who have been our greatest supporters in our network. And the first one is, I'd like to call Alderman Tim Cullerton from our 38th Ward. Tim, please.
Good morning. I'm okay here. Thank you, Anna. Good morning.
Morning,
Good morning to everyone. How is everybody today? First of all, thank you for conducting this forum here on behalf of the residents of the 38th Ward. I'm here to represent some of the concerns of the people in the community, Forest Park School, Smizer School, Reinberg School, and several others. We have, of course, the Belding schools in the 38th Ward currently. And of course, as Anna acknowledged, we have the opposite problem of the unfortunate problems we have in other areas of the city. So I'd like to hear what plans are pending to address the issues of overcrowding and overutilization of our schools here on the northwest side. I'd also like you to talk a little bit about school maintenance, resources. I was at the school yesterday. I won't name the school here. I can tell you afterwards. They're mandated, you know, to have metal detectors. The metal detectors are not functioning. Haven't been since January 1st. I'd also like to talk a little bit about, if you can, address the process of how the tier system boundaries are arrived at. Derived. I've had some concerns from residents inquiring why the people across Army Avenue, across Montrose Avenue are in one tier versus another when they're seemingly in the same income level. And of course, one matter that's close to me, almost a year ago, we gave CPS 9 acres of land right here, right behind the site here on Dunning. And we'd like to know what plans there may be in process for building a new traditional school here. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Cullerton. And now I'd like to ask Alderman Mary O'Connor from the 41st Ward to share a few words.
Thank you. I just broke my glasses, so bear with me. My name is Alderman Mary O'Connor. I represent the residents of Chicago's 41st Ward, which is located on the far northwest side of the city. I am here to speak on behalf of the 12 neighborhood schools that fall within my ward boundaries. Many are in attendance here today. These schools share many similarities. For instance, they are high performing. They also have dedicated teachers, great students, engaged parents, and committed volunteers. Together, they represent some of the best schools in the public school system. Unfortunately, they also share genuine frustration with the conditions in which they are expected to deliver a quality education. They are frustrated with having to keep desks, copy machines, and wheelchairs in narrow hallways. Frustrated with having to convert their cafeterias, computer labs, libraries, and broom closets into tightly packed classrooms. Frustrated with crumbling mobile units and dangerous athletic fields. Frustrated with overcrowded classrooms and an unfair minimum funding model. Frustrated with broken windows, rusty lockers, and rooms that leak. Frustrated with having to fundraise for decent computers, furniture, and other basic necessities. These are honest, reasonable, hardworking people who want nothing more than what is fair. They have proven time and time again they are willing to do their part. However, in order to do so, they need safe working conditions and budgets that provide for the basics. My constituents and I understand this body has been presented with a very difficult task. We are also aware that these problems certainly did not occur overnight, and that the decisions you make will definitely impact people's lives. No one is under the impression that there are easy solutions. As you begin the process of reshaping the public school system, all we ask is that you consider the needs of schools like ours here in the O'Hare Network. We need your help. Thank you for your attention today.
I just want to acknowledge that Alderman John Marino walked into the auditorium. Good morning, Alderman.
My name is Patrick Payne. I work on the transition team. So the format for today is we want to make sure that every school gets a chance to air their issues and be able to listen to them. So we're going to give every school 6 minutes. You can use all 6 minutes. You can use less than 6 minutes to be like, you can have one person speak. You can have 4 people speak if you like. But we're going to call up schools in order that they signed in, and then you can come up to the podium if you'd be more comfortable up there, or speak at either of the microphones. We're here to listen, so respect Alderman's questions. There's a lot of confusion about some of the things some of the rules and policies that we have in the district. And I know a lot of times at these sorts of events, people say afterwards a little bit and have informal conversation. So I'm willing to stay and answer questions afterwards. I know a lot of the other folks up here will also be staying a little bit later as well if you still have questions. Excuse me. But we're really here to listen to you and hear what you have to say. We want to make sure that we're not filling the air, taking up time from you, so we can hear from as many people as possible. So with that, we'll start with the first school crossing.
Can I just ask real quick if anyone needs Spanish translation? Okay, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Wright I'm principal of Pressing Elementary School, and I have been for 17 and a half years. 10 years ago, I was told by central office that I deserved to have an addition to my building. I haven't seen it yet. There are a number of issues that need to be addressed in my building that every time we put in a request, they get rejected by facilities. The building was rehabbed in 1987, and in doing so, they created a situation where we have no windows where students can look outside. Yet, when they're inside in their classrooms, it's like being outside because that's how the wind blows through and the water comes into these windows. I have here a list of issues that need to be addressed in my building. I would hope that you would look at that and appreciate what we are requesting. Also, you mentioned custodials. My custodial, we have non-city or non-CPS custodial workers. I have excellent custodial workers who keep my building in immaculate condition. They are now concerned that they're going to lose their jobs because CPS wants to hire custodial companies that do not have union representation. Now, I'm afraid that if my custodial workers leave and I get in new custodial workers, they're not going to do the quality of jobs that my current custodial workers are doing. Also, we talk about building utilization. I don't know how central office configures the space in a building, but according to your formula, I'm supposed to have another custodial worker, and I've had discussions with facilities about this, and every time it comes back, well, I'm sorry, we don't have the money to give you another custodial worker. I think that these issues need to be addressed. I have a special ed pull-out classroom on the stage of my auditorium. Creates a problem when we have inside recess because I have to use my auditorium for that. So we have a lot of space issues. We're a tier 1 school. We're overcrowded. We have been that way for many years, yet academically we're highly successful.
Good
morning. My name is Anya O'Brien and I am the LSC Chair and Parent Representative from Preston School here this morning. I made a decision 11 years ago to send my children to public school rather than private school because I really believed in Pressing after doing a lot of research, and I did the right thing. Got very involved in the school, and in doing so know the ins and outs of what Dr. Ehrenberg and his faculty and administration have gone through over the last 11 years. And it's so surprising to me, being in private business, how simple things like windows and air blowing through them, our children sitting in these classrooms, are not taken and run with. They have had their music room taken away, they have had their lunchroom taken away, they've had their special ed classroom this year taken away because of our school and how wonderful our school is, and people know that they will get a class and education there, want to send their children there. And Chicago Public Schools should be so proud of schools like this and schools in the Northwest Side. And I know we are all here this morning because of that. However, our children do sit in broom closets. They do sit in lunchrooms in the corner. They sit on stages. They sit out on corridors sometimes. It's disgraceful. And as we move forward, Chicago Public Schools need to take this into consideration and need to give us more space. So our children can sit in nice classrooms and get the phenomenal education that they are getting in smaller classrooms and in nicer classrooms. Thank you so much.
This is like I'm an alderman. One of my jobs is to fix glasses. I do that all the time in my office. Come by, I'd be happy to fix yours.
I don't use them yet.
The next school we have is Wildwood. Just a comment for everybody's safety. We've noticed a few people having issues on the stairs, myself included. So just be careful when you're walking down more of the steps.
Thanks, Shane.
Do you want to go on the podium?
You don't want me at a podium. I never stopped
6
talking.
minutes, very fast. 6 minutes.
So we are from Wildwood Rural Connecticut, and much of our issues have already been represented. I want to thank Alderman Mary O'Connor. You were so succinct and clear in representing your schools. I was very impressed with that. Overcrowding at Wildwood has been a long-term issue. We were given a temporary solution to mobile 13 years ago. Since I became principal 3 years ago, we have consistently been short a classroom every year. My first year, the 8th graders were transient, and through creative scheduling had to go from empty room to receive an education. They knocked down a couple walls and built another classroom, which still wasn't enough. It compromised clinician space for our special education needs. So this third year, still short a classroom or two. I gave up my office to my case manager, turned the case manager into a special education office, and I sit in the corner of the closet library where my workstation is. So that's about me, but this is about the kids. We have classrooms of 37 children. We have enough teachers to teach them, but we don't have any space to take them. So our classrooms are on the stage, as our classrooms are in the hallways, at tables in the hallways, in every corner, nook and cranny, in entryways. And I'm expecting that next year we're going to be short 2 classrooms at minimum. We're getting help from CPS as far as looking for real estate options, for which we're limited because we have a forest preserve on one side, Niles on the north, a business district on the south, and railroad tracks on the east. So it is very difficult to secure and find. We've been looking earnestly for rental space, and we just can't find any. So we really are in dire need of some space solutions for this fall, but even more so, we really want CPS to help us begin the planning and design process for an addition this year, so when funding is clear and we have some revenue to build, We are shovel ready for an addition because we are in desperate need.
My name is Sandra Lass, and as the vice principal, assistant principal described me, as I came to the building. My first child graduated in 1999, and my son graduated in 2009. When my daughter was in school, her 8th grade was 37 kids in a school that was built in the 1940s. It was originally a 4-room schoolhouse. So the rooms are very small. So besides the problems now, was even worse than you could hardly move. The situation has not improved, in fact, it has gotten worse. But the worst thing is actually a good thing, because more people are coming back because they see Wildwood providing an excellent education. I want to compliment our current principal for the amazing changes that she's made to improve our school and to have it comply so well with the International Baccalaureate program. However, one of the things that holds us back, even though we are a Tier 1 school functioning extremely high, is we could function even higher if we had room for the programs and activities that we would like to provide our children. So that I would hope I would support her recommendation about the shovel-ready facility. And as a businesswoman myself, I worked in management consulting and made a lot of recommendations to people that were sat on the shelf, which other school principals have talked about, is that it's really important to look long-term, because we're wasting our money to rent space when we don't have to. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I've been at this process for a few years. My daughter started kindergarten with 39 kids in her classroom. They had 2 teachers and they convinced me that it was going to be okay, don't worry. She's now in 4th grade in an overcrowded mobile. My son, he started a classroom with 51 kids. They expected at that time that there were going to be less kids from the neighborhood that came in, and so didn't have the planning ready. Mary Beth did a fantastic job of, putting all resources on this problem, and so 2 weeks of the first year of her teaching were spent on solving that problem rather than educating the rest of the school. So they did get separated into separate classrooms. My concern is one of timing. We keep trying to solve this piece by piece by piece, and we keep being told that don't worry, we have a long-term plan coming, or you're going to have to wait until there's money available. And as this happens, this isn't a theoretical exercise anymore. These are real kids that are aging each year, and my kids are going to graduate before we get this problem solved. So I want to just underscore what Mary Beth said. We need to be shovel ready. We need to have something in place tomorrow so that we can start to plan for when that money is miraculously available and we're ready to get the addition that we deserve.
As you can see, lots more people to speak. Thank you for having us here. Thank you, Mary Beth. And thank you for your commitment to shovel ready.
Thank you.
We've got Belding on
Thank
that, and Steinmetz after that.
Be the only time you'll be on stage.
Good morning. Thank you for your time. My name is Scott Merrill. I'm a National Board Certified Teacher, at Bellevue Elementary School, and as a pre-K through 8th grade school, we do serve a diverse community and build in our neighborhood. I'm here today with fellow teachers, parents, community members, to advocate for our issue of overcrowding. So currently, our school is 38% overcrowded, max capacity, past the max capacity. We're looking for some help. We do have, and we need some help from the board to rectify the situation. We do have several plans in place and several options and recommendations. I'd like to share those with you now.
Thanks again for having us here and letting us speak to the issues that we see in our school and the neighborhood and what's going on. My name is Matt Olson. Chicago Public Schools employee for 19 years, but more importantly, have 2 children now that attend Bellevue, and that's what I'm here to speak about is my students at Bellevue. Same thing you're going to hear, I think, from everybody today, or most everybody that's here. Our school is overcrowded. As he said, 38% is what is overcrowded. We have a handout, I think. Can I have that all? You've all got that. I think you see on the back the map of all the schools that are in the area. They're all overcrowded. We're not the only one in this situation. We've got Palmer, Scanlon, Murphy, Volta are all over the capacity. But what we do have in the neighborhood, kind of what we propose and we put in here, is you have 2 underutilized schools. You have Marshall Middle School that's 55% underutilized, and you have Aspira, which is 34% underutilized. Some of the 4 things that we've outlined in here that we think will be helpful to not only us, but the other schools that you see in the neighborhood are another neighborhood elementary school. We know the board has already approved to have Disney to have high school somewhere in the area. We think that's great. We know it's an issue to overcrowding with that, but we'd like to see that's not going to address the elementary school issues that we have. And using one of those buildings as a new neighborhood school and redrawing the boundaries would alleviate this at all the schools in the area. We've got the exact numbers on here. I don't need to go through them all. But something else that would help us is controlled enrollment. With redrawing of the boundaries for our school, that would help. If we have the same number of kindergartners come in as we have the last 4 years. Old times, just a couple classes coming in, there was more space, but now we're getting 3 and 4 classes coming in. If we have that again, we're going to have what a lot of you have talked about. Ms. Albert said when she was in schools, you see them in the lunchroom, and I think that's our next option is the lunchroom. The lounge is gone, and the closets are gone. Those are classrooms now. And we really don't want to see our students bus the 7th and 8th graders, which we know has happened in some of the neighborhood schools. They are bused in other schools. We don't want that. We want the kids to continue on and in the building they're familiar with, that started with, and continue to go on to high school. And with that, we also we have the rental space for our pre-K. They're not even in the building. I don't know what we do if we have them there. We would like that to continue so we can keep them over there just a few blocks away. We have 4 pre-K classes, and there's nowhere to put them if they came into our building. And I think that's the short of it, so thank you all for hearing us. And Mr. Payne, thank you. You came out to our school to speak, I think, in December.
I'm not used to this. I'm Jennifer Moore. I'm one of the parents there. I'm also the LSC chair. And we're here to support our school. As you all know, you're all here because of overcrowding. What O'Hare has and the other parts of the city don't have is the issue of overcrowding. We need more elementary seats. We need more schools. We can expand, we can build additions, but we need physically more schools in this area. And that's what we're asking from CPS. And that's, I don't think we need a high school necessarily. I might be wrong, I don't know the numbers, but it is obvious from the support we have here that elementary should be the primary goal for expansion right now. Not a C2, not another high school. What we should do is improve our neighborhood high schools so that kids want to go there as well as the selected high schools. That's all.
Simon High School is next, and after that, Boreal Park.
morning. My name is Christopher Swanson. I'm the LSC chairperson for Steinmetz High School. The reason I'm here today is to ask CPS 3 questions. I have contacted CPS about if schools are closing within the area, will it overcrowd Steinmetz? I've tried talking to Ms. Bennett's office. I've tried talking to Leslie about this, because I feel if the schools close around Steinmetz, it's going to overcrowd Steinmetz. The other question I have is about nursing services for all the schools within the area. And it's like, because this is one thing that I believe in as far as nursing services for all the schools around Steinmetz. My third question is, I've been trying to find out, as the LSC chairperson, from CPS about the capital improvement money, because Steinmetz needs a capital improvement ADA project, and I still have not got my answers from CPS where the money is at or where it's going to be spent. And like I said before, I personally feel if CPS closes some of the schools, our special ed students will not be provided for, because I checked into charter schools, and charter schools do not provide a service for special ed students. And that's why I'm here today, to get the answers that I am looking for from CPS. I've contacted Mr. Vitelli's office. I've contacted Ms. Bennett's office. But all I seem to be getting is the runaround. And I have not got the answers that I'm looking for. That's all I have to say. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oriole Park. And after Oriole Park is Murphy School.
Hi, my name is Erica Wozniak. I am a 5th grade teacher at Oriole Park. In our 5th grade class right now, we have 35 students, which sounds like nothing compared to some of the other schools that spoke, but it's too many. We're asking too much of these kids, we're asking too much of these parents, we're asking too much of the teachers to meet the needs of 35 individual learners. It's too much. And these kids have been in a class of 35 since they were in 1st grade. So, as far as special ed at Oriole Park, we have students who aren't getting the appropriate services because we have a lack of personnel. Co-teaching works at Oriole Park. Our NWA scores show that co-teaching works, but we can't cover all the minutes because we don't have enough people. The special ed students are working in the hallway and are treated as second-class citizens because they don't have a classroom. And it's not that the staff or the principal or the community treats them that way, it's just the lack of space. The OSPs are barely getting their time in as well. We're also very concerned about the way CPS is using money. We're wondering why schools that were turned around only last year are being closed this year. Why not give those schools a chance? Why are we spending all that money when you can't even give that school another chance? So we're really concerned about what's happening at other schools in the district, not just in the O'Hare network, because it seems like there's a lot of money being used to turn around schools when we're not following through on it.
Murphy School. After Murphy, Dever. Dever, sorry.
A little like the Academy Awards. Although there's no great party afterwards. I'm just going to start and say good morning and thank you for allowing us the opportunity as concerned community members to stand here before you today and voice our concerns to sustain and build a stronger neighborhood in the O'Hare network. We have representatives here today from GIPNA, which is the Greater Independence Park Neighborhood Association, Old Irving Park Community, Murphy Elementary, Albany Park, and Athletic Field communities. My name is Roberta Salas. I'm the chairperson of the LSC at Murphy School. We recently saw that Thurgood Marshall was slated to close and then removed from the second posting from your list for the most recent CPS listings, and we're here today to really accomplish a couple of goals. We would like to hear your direct confirmation about what decisions and plans have been made around Thurgood Marshall. Will Thurgood Marshall remain open and stay as a middle school? Moving forward, if there are plans to change the structure, utilization, or academics of the school, we feel that we should be an integral part of that decision. And notified on a timely basis before any plans are made so that the community knows that it has an intrinsic voice in the matter. We'll leave you our contact information today so that anybody can contact us and provide us with that information. And we would like to propose a couple ideas that we think might serve this long-standing community best, particularly because Thurgood Marshall is literally 2 blocks from our school. We saw that Thurgood Marshall was slated to close, and then we've been hearing lots and lots of rumors about the possibility of the space being used by Disney to expansion, not to belabor the Disney issue. But nobody is really telling us anything, and since Thurgood Marshall was removed from the second posting of the school, from the closing list, on the recent listing, we still hear speculations that Disney too may go into that space. And during this whole time about this issue, our community has not been involved in any of the decision-making process. And we have not been directly informed about any such change that might occur or have our input put into this. And we are not here to be antagonistic, we're really here just to be part of that process so that our voices can be heard. We all live in that community. And we really care about what's going on, not in a bad way. We just want to know and feel like we're heard. And today we're asking you for direct confirmation that Thurgood Marshall will remain open and stay as a middle school. It's as simple as that. Yes or no? Is it going to be a middle school, or are you giving it away? We know that it has been removed from closing, but we know that that does not mean that it may transfer into some other thing. And if the decision is for it to remain open this year, does it include a phase-out initiative? And if so, what plans are in place now for that space in the future? Again, we would like to have a voice in that. If a decision has been made to close the school, to phase it out, and reopen another school in this place, when will this take place? How will we be involved in this decision-making process to create a school that will better serve our community? And we are putting CPS on notice that we would really, really like to be a part of that process. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Penny Schultz. All 6 of my children have attended Murphy School and then gone on to selective enrollment schools. And it's a difficult process, as many of you know. And when we heard all this, we were a little frustrated that this space that honestly I've been on the LSC, we have had dreams in the last few years that this space right in our neighborhood would be properly utilized by our community, which is a very cohesive community. We have a lot of excellent things. Mainly, we have a dream. We have a dream that this space that is underutilized would be used to have a continuation of our Murphy success, somewhat like a Murphy High School. We believe a Murphy High School would be a perfect fit for the neighborhood. because it would extend our academic and cultural success that Murphy has demonstrated in the past 88 years. We are a level 1 fine and performing arts neighborhood, magnet cluster school. We have relationships with Ravinia, Old Town School of Folk Music, Chicago Symphony Orchestra, on and on and on. A new high school would provide an open enrollment for our area. We would offer magnet enrollment to support special concentrations and programs, learning centers for arts and technology, which would be supported in our very artistic neighborhood. We have several artists in our neighborhood. These centers would serve as diamonds on the near northwest side, an area that does not currently provide this type of academic offering. And I'd like to introduce Alice McCormick from our LC.
Similar to Send Arts or Try Arts with its passion for the arts, in Murphy High School we would like to design an artist teaching platform that would serve the arts education goals of developing artists into art teachers. We believe that such a school would be an authentic training ground. This high school will partner with the local schools, businesses, and institutions to serve as a teaching college for art professionals and up-and-coming teachers and artists. The neighborhood community is filled with local artists, and this school would represent its surrounding community. On the technology end, we would partner with technology companies, colleges, and institutions to create a center preparing students for college in the field of technology. The natural integration with the arts with technology would be seamless. Furthermore, Murphy High School enrollment would overlay with several other local schools and not compete, nor lower the enrollment of 2 other high schools, Schurz and Roosevelt. Schurz is now an IB school with CTEs and automotive concentrations. All right, thank you for your time.
Deborah School.
Thank you, Murphy.
Thank you, Murphy. After Deborah, editor.
Thank you so much. So glad to see you again.
Good morning, I'm Rita Ortiz, principal at Deborah School, and I'm so proud to be here with all of you as we speak about our common issues of overcrowding. I'm here with Carrie Murphy, who is an LC parent representative, and she will deliver some comments. First, I would like to share that I am very deeply concerned about the effect of overcrowding on the culture in our school. Everyone needs personal space. We have none. I see our children having problems with their peers and with their relationships because they are on top of each other. It is not our children's fault when you are bumping into people in the hallway and stepping over them in the classroom that perhaps a word is exchanged that's not the best choice and things can escalate. We don't want that escalation at Deborah School. We want a good, calm culture for learning. I'm concerned that my teachers can't collaborate with each other because there's no place for them to be. When you're moving from space to space all day long, it's hard to find the colleague that you need to speak to. So they have to resort to emailing in the evening or calling as they're in their car on their way home or on their way into school, and they do a wonderful job. They are wonderful, wonderful teachers and role models. But when they're forced to walk into the basement and sit next to a boiler room in order to have a table because their classroom is being used for lunch or by another teacher, that doesn't build a culture and the climate that we want to maintain at Deborah School.
Deborah is a level 1 school. According to the 2011-2012 School Space Utilization Report, Deborah School status is overcrowded. The ideal enrollment for our building is 630. We're currently at 838. 208 students over the ideal number. Storage space in offices have been converted into classrooms. Teachers share workspace. Clinicians, speech therapists, social workers, psychologists, OT, and PT have no private space to deliver services to children or conduct a private conversation with a parent. Deborah School does not have a lunchroom or kitchen. Food is delivered from another school, and the first floor hallway serves as a makeshift kitchen. Refrigerators and coolers line the hall where children need to walk to get to their classrooms, resulting in a fire hazard. Lunch is carried to each classroom in the picnic cooler, and students must remain in the classroom to eat their meal. Deborah has amazing teachers and staff who work hard and use best practices teaching methods. Their efforts are being impacted by our overcrowding. How can students work in groups if there's no space to move? How can teachers plan if they have to leave their classrooms during their preparation period so someone can step in and use the room? How can our students fully expect the art education they so deserve when the art and music teacher are forced to travel room to room with their belongings on a cart? Hallways are overcrowded, 2 to 3 students share a single locker, and there are only 4 student restrooms, 2 for the boys and 2 for the girls. On a personal note, my daughter is on the 3rd floor. She had crutches. She couldn't get to the bathroom except on the 2nd floor until accommodations were made so that she could use the teacher bathroom. So there is no bathroom on the 3rd floor for the 5th through 8th grade students. Time and energy that could be spent on leading Deborah's school improvement is being spent on logistics, maintaining order, and writing schedules that need to be color-coded to communicate where everyone must be at a given period so 2 groups don't end up in the same space at the same time. Recess for children is spent sitting in the auditorium during cold weather due to a lack of anywhere else for the children to go. During outdoor recess, our children are playing in an area that is only partially fenced in for their safety. I don't have a solution to the overcrowding that exists in so many of our schools. I do implore you, seriously, to focus on this growing problem. I've already been told that an annex or addition for Deborah is not a consideration, even though surrounding schools have received new buildings. Repurposing our current space is being looked at, but even those ideas are a mere Band-Aid on a much larger, more permanent problem. Our children deserve a place of order and calm with adequate space in which to learn, and our staff deserve a respectful working environment. We also did have school. We had room on our property, but that was taken and given to the library. So they built a brand new library on our property where we could have expanded. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Deborah. Edinger is next. After Edinger, Disney 2.
I'm always a little embarrassed to come before you to talk about some of Evanger's concerns because I've been in Wildwood, I've been in Oriole Park, I've been in Denver, and I feel you can even, I mean, the words that they express to you, unless you're there, you have no idea the conditions of those buildings. I almost wish I could say, come on down and use my time, but I don't think these 2 security guards will want me to.
If that's an option, we'll take it.
So I wanted to come here and speak on behalf of all the stakeholders of Evanger School, and I wanted to kind of piggyback on what Alderman O'Connor said about the inequity of school funding. At the beginning of the school year, I had 4 classrooms with 35 students in it, and I was told by the 20th day if I lost no students, I would receive an additional teacher. I lost 1 student, and therefore I did not receive that teacher by 1 student. I just don't think that's fair. And I'm not asking for equal funding to schools who have different demographics with higher percentages of high poverty, but I'm asking for equity. In the last year and a half that I've been principal, we were able to buy enough computers to fill a brand new computer lab. We have new iPads and smart boards, but that was all done because of the generous donations of my parents. Are city workers that have no other choice but to live in the city and to send their kids to public school. And as we move into a culture of much time spent on testing online, and we have all this wonderful technology, 25% of my school year I have to tell my teachers and students they can't use it because the internet network capacity at my school is so small that we have to spend weeks and weeks and weeks testing, and we can't do it without turning off all the rest of it. And my teachers can't even check their email during testing time. So I'm asking that, and when I call the network, or when I call downtown, they say, well, you only have a T1 line, and I don't understand why all schools are not giving the same type of network capacity.
Every school has 2 demountable buildings that were given to them 7 or 8 years ago that hold 8 classrooms. They're wonderful. I don't want to complain here. Again, I'm embarrassed to bring up some of my concerns when some of your concerns are far more serious. But my parents have some issues, and I feel like I need to go on record talking about the amount of instructional time that is lost going back and forth from those buildings to our main building for lunch and for their specials. And, you know, they're also very afraid for safety. I mean, the Sandy Hook tragedies has really made them think when my children are going from one building to the next, are they safe? We say they are, but something can happen. So I guess when we think about future solutions, do we really want to keep on having kids having to move back and forth like that during the school day? And then the last thing I want to bring up, as you know, we're in school to the end of June, and as our calendar has changes, the learning environment at our school isn't what it needs to be in the summer months. We have no air conditioning, and it is sweltering. And unless you live it, and if you've been in those junior high school classrooms, where, especially after gym class, yeah, there's no learning going on because of the heat and the snow. But if we can look at some solutions, again, I'm talking about equity. There's schools who have, you know, air conditioning and whatnot to make the environment conducive for learning. That's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Disney 2, and after Disney 2, scan them.
Hello, my name is Caroline Billicky, and I am a parent of 3 children who were fortunate to be accepted under the proximity lottery at Disney 2. I am also the immediate past president of the PTA and an LSC member. I'm here today to talk, thank you again for coming this morning. I'm here to talk about our expansion proposal. The Board of Education approved our expansion proposal in December of 2012 at their meeting. However, that is all they have done. We have no facility, and as we have heard from Murphy and Belding, there is a lot of conjecture going around in the community about where it's going to be. We don't know. Not only does it affect us, it affects everyone else in the community. It affects our ability to engage community, to set enrollment policies, to forge partnerships. We can't do anything without a facility. And in addition to that, we're also missing funding. The Board of Education approved the expansion to high school because it recognized that we, as a district, need more high-quality high school options. Disney 2 can provide that, but not without funding. It needs funding to secure personnel and make planning decisions. Right now, it cannot do any of that. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Dennis Greger. I am a parent member on the Disney 2 LSC. I'm also a community member on the Schurz LSC. And I've had children in a couple public schools before they both landed at Disney. Just to speak to our panel here, you've heard there has to be solutions for the Northwest Side in terms of overcrowding. The district is dealing with some very weighty issues, and everybody, I think, understands that if you're paying attention. But one of those has to be the issue of overcrowding in the Northwest Side. So I'll just agree with that. The second thing I would say, and this comes from my experience in these various roles, I joke, I've spoken to both aldermen. They call education my religion. I'm engaged in this at a very intensive level. And I would say one of the things that sometimes is missing as you address the challenges in this community and communities throughout the district, you have to begin to think about how these schools work together. And this is one of the first times the district has come out and we as schools can come and talk and present our issues. And so the solutions, people have talked about inclusion and so forth. And the district is getting better at it and needs to continue to work on that. So I would also implore that. And the last thing I would say, and I'm going to take a few minutes for sure, is because I signed up and so they just allow me to. We need more quality high school options throughout the district. I've been very fortunate to be a part of the process to help bring this thing with Disney. It was an opportunity that kind of came. We worked very hard, and then going forward, I would say we want to work with everybody to continue to provide quality options. I'm also at Schurz. We just recently got an IB track at the school. It's just starting off. We're very excited about it, and there's some great things going on at Schurz. And so the district has actually this year done some things toward that end. And so we have to do both of those things at the same time. And if we do so, if we work together, I'm just doing a little punch here, this Northwest, the community that we have throughout the city will continue to thrive and grow. And if we don't, we know that we know the options. So I just thank you for your time. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak. And we need to find a way to work together as we're solving these things. Thank you.
Scanlon, and after Scanlon, Pitch.
Yeah.
Good morning. I'm here representing Scammon, where my daughter is supposed to be going to school, but my husband and I have decided not to. I'm actually surprised that there's nobody else from the administration or the LSC at Scammon here to say a few words. The school, I'm up here beating a dead horse. It's what we've all been talking about. Every school that's here has the same concerns. My husband and I were not interested in sending our children to a school when they have to learn in mobile homes on the property. And at a school where my 5-year-old can't go outside to play because there's no playground, because there are 3 mobile units on the property for them to learn in. Now, it's very strange to me that there's nobody else here to speak to these issues from that school. The school is overcrowded. 7 of the 11 schools within a 1.5 miles of my house are overcrowded. Where are my options for knowledge for our children? There are no options. I am not willing, and I don't think any parent who lives in the city should have to drive their children 5 miles, 3 miles, 2 miles to go to school because their own neighborhood school is overcrowded. That is not a healthy learning environment. I think that the only solution for the O'Hare network and for my community, Old Park, Independence Park, is more schools. We need more schools. And taking away, and for me, the immediacy, and I think for a lot of parents in this room, the immediacy is elementary schools. High schools, yes, are important. But right now, we need more elementary schools. And as Alderman Cullerton pointed out, CPS was granted a lot of land. I would like to know what they're planning on doing with that land. It's a perfect place to put a school. 2 schools, 3 schools. How many acres was it, Alderman?
Almost 9 acres.
9 acres. Think about the possibilities of what could be there. Think about the possibilities for our kids if they weren't climbing over each other and eating their lunch in the hallway and learning in basements. I mean, the kids at Belding, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it there. That's all I need to say. Thank you.